Okay, so the last thing is applying inequalities. And you're going to have to be careful here with this section. And you're going to have to be careful with tonight's homework to get to the point where you comprehend and understand what is going on. Colby, what do you need?
I left my notes at home.
Next time I ask you a question, don't lie to me. Okay, 8.5, applying inequalities. All right, be careful here. Symbol meanings. Symbol meanings. All right, so we have just a normal symbol meaning. And we talked about it being an arrowhead, and we talked about when the arrowhead points to the right, you get bigger, and so those are greater thans. And when the arrowhead points to the left, you get less, and so that's for the less than. Now we got to interpret words like is at least, not less than, is at most, and not more than. And this is a little abstract. And this isn't always so easy to just at a second understand. It's going to require some thought. So as I was trying to tell you earlier, it's important that you tonight doing homework spend the time you need to try to begin to understand why it is what it is. You need to use your odds to help you. In these, you might look at an odd and there's no work to show. You're now going to know that you had it wrong and you're going to know what the correct answer is. But you need to spend some time to think, well, okay, why was it the other way? Why did I have it wrong? Because again, they're abstract, and if you're going to get these right, you're going to have to spend some time thinking. All right. So if something is at least, if I said this, Juliana, this would be true, I'm sure, is at least 10 years old. Right? That's a true statement, yes? What does that mean? Juliana is what in respect to 10? Greater than or equal to 10. If I say she's at least 10 years old. So this first one, I'm going to do this in green. This first one is greater than or equal to. Greater than or equal to. What if I said, and most of you guys are what, 12 or 13? Both? 14 maybe? Anybody 14? Okay. So what if I said this? Allison is not less than 11. Would that be a true statement? Allison is not less than 11. Okay? So that means Allison is not 10 or 9 or 8 or 7, etc., right? Could she be 11 if I said she's not less than 11? Yes. Could she be 12? 13? Could she be 58? Okay? So what symbol would that be? Again, it's a greater than or equal to if it's a not less than. All right, what about is at most? Is at most. Hayden is at most 120 pounds. Okay, I think I'm right there. So what am I saying? Hayden has to be what? If I say he's at most 120 pounds. That is the less than or equal to. If he's at most 120 pounds, he's got to be either 120 pounds or less. And I'm correct, right? It's a true statement? Yes. I wish they could say that about me. All right. No, then I'd be too thin. All right. And then D, not more than. Not more than. Let's see. Not more than. Luke is not more than 6 feet 6 inches tall. True statement, right? Luke is not more than 6 feet 6 inches tall. So again, what symbol? Again, this is a less than or equal to. So if I say he's not more than 6 feet 6, he could be 6 feet 6 or less. All right. Again, you got to get used to these, and if you'll come up with a simple example like I did, then maybe you can figure them out. But again, they're words, and you have to be careful with words. You could just simply memorize everything. Now, the second thing we need to do today is called negation. Negation. Any line through a symbol negates the symbol. Way back in the 80s, there was a popular movie called Ghostbusters. And it had the ghost with the circle with the line through it. Well, the line was the negation. I know a few of you have been to Europe. How many of you have been to Europe? None of your class? Okay. None of you guys have been to Europe? Okay. In Europe, it's common to see on a road sign something with the circle and the line through it, meaning you can't do it. Like a no parking. Would be a parking with the circle and the line, no parking. It's negation. So whenever we put a line through the symbol, we negate it. And the symbol could either go the way that one is from, if you look bottom to top, left to right, or it can slash the other direction. That doesn't matter. As long as there's a line through it, it's negation. Okay, so now we need to go through some possibilities. If we're negating a greater than, then indeed it is less than or equal to. Because we're saying not greater than. Right? The line through it says not greater than. Therefore, it's less than or equal to. And we can fill this in. So the second one says not greater than or equal to. That one's got to be less than. Less than. So not greater than or equal to has to be less than. C is not less than. Therefore, it's got to be
Greater than or equal to.
Greater than or equal to. Correct. You're catching on. Or the blanks are helping you. Does anybody see a simple way of looking at the symbol with the line through it and knowing what the other one's going to be? Edward?
What you do is flip the symbol, and then if it has no line under it, put a line, or if there's a line, keep going.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Right? Look at the first one. Flip it the other way. It didn't have a line, so give it a line. Look at the second one. Here, I'll do it this way for you. Look at the second one. Flip it the other way. It did have a line. Don't give the new one a line. Look at the third one. Flip it the other way. The first one didn't have the line, so give it a line. So the next one, what are we going to do? Flip it the other way. It did have a line. Don't give it a line. And this is a greater than. It's called negation. You're negating it. Negation. Right, and then the last one we know is not equal to, so does not equal. That one's not a big deal. That one's pretty understandable. So this last lesson basically involves first taking care of the negation and then solving the inequality. And they're not hard if you remember to take care of the negation. The other part of the lesson is word problems that use the words is at most, is not greater. And we have to figure out how to write the symbol for those. Okay, let's do some examples. So here's the first one. Here, let me get rid of my shade so I can go higher for you guys. Here's the first one. So you got 3n is not less than 18. The first thing you want to do is take care of your symbol. So I want everybody to write what you think the symbol should be. Just put it right underneath. You're still going to have the 3n. You're still going to have the 18. What are you going to write for the symbol? Omar, what'd you put for the symbol? And that would be correct. So flip the symbol the other way. The negation one didn't have the line, so we need to have the line. Okay, now we're going to finish solving the problem. But take care of the negation first and get it unnegated. Okay? Take care of that first. Okay, now we're normal. So somebody tell me what to do next to solve this. Amber? Okay. So we can multiply both sides by 1 over 3 or do the shortcut. It's the exact same thing. Do I switch my inequality symbol? No, because I didn't multiply by a negative. So I get n greater than or equal to 6. If it asked me to graph it, I would put a dot over the 6, arrow to the right, but it didn't ask me to graph it, right? So that's number 1. All right, so I want you to go ahead and do 2 from start to finish and then stop, and I'll check and see if you're correct. So I'm going to pause the video. All right, we'll see how many of you are correct in a moment. First thing I'm going to do is unnegate it, right? I'm now also going to move the 1 by adding its opposite to both sides. I am now at negative 2x less than negative 6. I'm going to multiply both sides by 1 over negative 2 or do the shortcut. And again, as soon as I multiply or divide by a negative quantity, I always reverse my inequality symbol. That leaves me x greater than 3. How many had that correct? All right, good job. Any questions on that? So because this chapter we've gotten into a little bit more complicated equations, you can see some of the inequalities are a little bit more complicated. All right, take your knowledge now and try to do number 3, and I'm going to pause. Hopefully you unnegated. I'm also going to add like terms. They're all on the same side. The negative 4n. I still have the negative 4. I still have the 8 on the left. I'm going to add a positive 4 to both sides to move that 4 because my variable, you know what? I'm not going to because I told you guys it's better if you get your variable on the left. Let's add a positive 4 into both sides. Let's get our variable on the left because it's an inequality. All right, now I'm going to move the 8 by adding a negative 8 to both sides. I got 4n less than negative 12. I'm going to do the shortcut, divide both sides by 4, and I get n less than negative 3, which is the same answer as negative 3 greater than n, but you have to be careful to know what that means. So n less than negative 3 is the same as negative 3 greater than n. Any questions on that one? Amber?
When you did it the other way and added, if you would have done...
Again, as I told you, it would have ended up the other way like that, negative 3 greater than n. Okay. But for an inequality, you're better off having your variable on the left because it means more to you. It has more meaning than the other way. Most students can't comprehend what this means.
Okay, so if you did it the other way, they would both be the same.
You should, when you're done, flip the sides. And remember, whenever we flip the sides, what do? We flip the inequality symbol.
Yeah, I got that yesterday. I forgot that.
Again, as you should, when you're done, flip the inequality symbol and switch the sides because this doesn't mean anything to most students. They don't know what it means, and that's a problem. All right, number 4. Go ahead and try number 4. I'm going to pause the video. All right, here we go on 3. Give me your solution. 1, 2, 3. What comes after the symbol? Say what's after the symbol. Should be 21/5. A is less than or equal to, quiet please. A is less than or equal to 21/5. So again, don't make the mistake of doing 5 minus 2. You'll violate the order of operations. Distribute your negative 2. Add like terms on the same side. 5 and 8 is 13. Negative 6 and a positive 1 is a negative 5. Add a negative 13 to both sides, get negative 21. Divide both sides by negative 5. Flip the symbol because you're multiplying or dividing by a negative. Negative divided by a negative is a positive. How many got that one correct? Okay, good amount of you. All right, so that's same things. Just remember with inequalities, don't forget if you multiply or divide by a negative quantity, you got to reverse the inequality symbol. And remember with negation, start off by getting rid of the negation. You should never have an answer with the negation in it unless it's a does not equal, because there's no way to get rid of that one. Does not equal stays a does not equal all the way through. Okay? All right, let's do the last problem here. Find the largest two consecutive integers where their sum is less than 89. All right, first thing we got to do is NTV. Who can name the variable? Christina? Okay, that's the first one. We have two consecutive integers, so what would the second number be? It is n plus 1. Consecutive means right after each other. Consecutive even would be n plus 2. Consecutive odd, n plus 2. Consecutive, n plus 1. Find the largest of two consecutive integers where their sum is less than 89. Now let's make up the inequality. So, what would you do next? This doesn't have an equal sign, does it? Now, if it had an equal sign, that's usually what we do first, correct? So instead of the equal sign, let's do the inequality symbol first. Inequality symbol first. So what are you going to use, Brendan? So which way is a less than? It does point to the left, right? Less than's point to the left. You alligator people, good luck with that, figuring out what to do with the alligator, which way to put its mouth. I don't know. Maybe you'll still figure it out, but it's just an arrowhead. Okay. What would you do next? What's next? Allison? Why? Why did you do that? What told you to do that? What operational word told you to do that? Sum. All right. Oh, make that red there. So the word sum told us to add. And what did it say to add? The two consecutive integers. The first one was n, and the second one was n plus 1, right? So this sum was that plus sign. There's the first number, there's the second, and hopefully we all figure out that the 89 goes there. Okay, I want you to finish the problem and make sure you ATQ, which means answer the question. Word problems, always make sure that you're answering the question. I'm going to pause, see if you can finish it out. So where we're at right now is we solved the inequality, but we have not answered the question yet. And if that's all you have, you're going to get the problem wrong. You have to answer the question. So, anybody want to take a stab at the answer? All right, so a bunch of you, so I'll let you say it on 3, okay? Here we go, 1, 2, 3.
First number is 44, second number is 45.
Okay, I heard aloud, first number is 44, second number is 45. Who agrees with that? Okay. Anybody have anything else? Aaron?
I have it to be 43.
First number is 43? Second number is 43? What's the first number?
44.
Okay, so usually in order, so you're saying one of them's, so the first would be 43, second is 44? Okay, so don't write anything, so 44 and 45, and Aaron said 43, 44. One of those is correct. Of course, the majority is always correct, right? And how many have 44, 45? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. And how many have 44 and 45? I mean 43 and 44. 1, 2, So what is that, 17 to 2? So it's got to be 44 and 45, right? Is 44 plus 45 less than 89? Is it? Is 44, are your two consecutive numbers less than 89? So how in the world can it be the answer? See, the first number has to be less than 44. What's the biggest number that's less than 44? 43. And therefore the next number is 44. And those are the two where when you add them, you're less than 89. Right? So of course, the majority is not always right, are they? And that is the case. You know, the Bible talks about narrow is the way and straight is the gate that leadeth unto life, and few there be that find it. And it talks about broad is the way and wide is the gate that leadeth to destruction, and many there be which go in thereat. The reality is, unfortunately, in our world, most people don't understand salvation and they're lost. The majority's not always right, so be careful. Don't always just buy in with the majority. You got to think about the situation. Okay, that's it for